The return of Alcatraz, a new era for immigration enforcement. The concept of Alcatraz, a symbol of impregnable incarceration, is re-emerging in 2025, not in San Francisco Bay, but in the Florida Everglades. This new facility, dubbed Alligator Alcatraz, is a detention center for undocumented immigrants, with a current capacity for 3,000 detainees, expandable to 5,000. Its controversial location, surrounded by alligators and snakes, has been a subject of both presidential jokes and expert skepticism regarding its realism. Financials and construction: the Alligator Alcatraz is projected to cost $450 million annually to operate. Its construction cost remains undisclosed, though it was reportedly built within a week, suggesting a makeshift camp rather than a permanent structure, utilizing trucks and tents similar to disaster relief efforts. Trump's immigration agenda: tariffs, deportations, and birthright citizenship. President Donald Trump's administration is aggressively pursuing its immigration agenda, marked by significant policy shifts and increased funding. Trade and tariffs: in 2025, the average U.S. tariff on global imports has surged from 2.5% to 15.8%, the highest level since 1936. This tariff war is presented as a key component of the president's promise fulfillment. Southern border and deportations: illegal immigration at the U.S.-Mexico border has seen a drastic reduction. The focus has now shifted to mass deportations of undocumented individuals already within the country. Between January and the first week of June 2025, the Trump administration deported an estimated 207,000 undocumented immigrants. This includes 139,000 in just over 100 days between January and the end of April. It's followed by an additional 68,000 by the first week of June. Immigration enforcement budget: the Big Beautiful Bill has significantly increased the budget for immigration enforcement. The Immigration and Customs Enforcement Agency, currently operating on an annual budget of around $10 billion, is set to see its funding nearly triple. The bill allocates approximately $150 billion to immigration control, with at least $100 billion earmarked for ICE between 2025 and 2029. Specific allocations include $46.5 billion for 1,100 kilometers of border wall construction, $45 billion for new immigration detention centers, aiming to increase capacity from 40,000 to over 100,000 detainees. Current detention figures stand at around 59,000 undocumented immigrants. An estimated 18,000 new officers will be hired across these agencies. Voluntary Self-Deportation Program: the administration has proposed a program to pay for plane tickets and offer a $1,000 check to certain undocumented immigrants who voluntarily leave the country. This is presented as a more cost-effective solution than the estimated $17,000 it costs taxpayers to deport each undocumented individual. A similar program in 2008, which was less generous, saw only 8 accept the offer out of approximately 30,000 eligible immigrants. While a proposal to charge asylum seekers $1,000 was reduced to $1 by the Senate, the overall strategy appears to be making the judicial process more expensive and less accessible for immigrants. However, the current administration's approach includes the threat of arrest, extended detention, and fines if the offer is not accepted. This is a fundamental pillar of U.S. law, enshrined in the 14th Amendment of the Constitution. Historical context points to a similar program. During the Great Depression, that resulted in the departure of an estimated 500,000 to 2 million immigrants, including some American citizens of certain ethnic backgrounds. Control of immigration courts: the administration is exerting greater control over immigration courts. These judges, being employees of the Department of Justice rather than independent federal judges, are subject to more governmental influence. On January 20th, the new White House occupant dismissed for high-ranking immigration court officials, including the chief immigration judge, all of whom had been critical of mass deportations. Additionally, the cost to appeal an immigration judge's decision has increased from $110 to $900. The debate over birthright citizenship, and subject to the jurisdiction thereof, are citizens of the United States and of the state wherein they reside. However, existing jurisprudence strongly refutes this, indicating that the subject to the jurisdiction clause excludes only children of diplomats and enemy soldiers. The Supreme Court suspended the order for 30 days, leaving states to make their own decisions in the interim. This has led to speculation about the court's political leaning. Experts generally agree that the Supreme Court is less politicized than it appears, with many rulings being unanimous or not entirely along party lines. Beyond denying citizenship to millions, it could significantly increase legal uncertainty for both immigrants and the broader population. This economic reality could lead to a less extreme approach than currently suggested, though the ultimate direction remains uncertain. A significant policy aim of the Trump administration is to eliminate jus soli, or birthright citizenship, which currently grants U.S. citizenship to anyone born on American territory, regardless of their parents' immigration status. Potential impact of eliminating jus soli. If jus soli were to be eliminated, it is estimated that approximately 150,000 newborns annually would be denied citizenship, leading to an increase in the number of individuals without a defined legal status from birth. The 14th Amendment and legal challenges. The 14th Amendment states, all persons born or naturalized in the United States. President Trump has signed an executive order to end birthright citizenship, proposing a creative interpretation of the 14th Amendment, arguing that children of undocumented immigrants are not subject to the jurisdiction of the U.S. While the Supreme Court has made a recent ruling concerning a federal judge's nationwide injunction against the executive order, it has not ruled on the constitutionality of the order itself. Supreme Court and political influence. The President of the United States nominates the 9 Supreme Court justices, with Republicans having nominated 6 of the current 9. The court's history of making creative interpretations for popular laws exists, but directly contradicting established jurisprudence on jus soli would be an extremely rare event in American justice. Unpredictable consequences and economic considerations. The potential consequences of eliminating birthright citizenship are largely unpredictable. There's also a recognition within some Republican circles that undocumented immigrants provide necessary cheap labor, particularly in sectors like agriculture and hospitality. What are your thoughts on the administration's current immigration policies and their potential long-term impacts? There's also a recognition within some Republican circles that undocumented immigrants provide necessary cheap labor, particularly in sectors like agriculture and hospitality. The president himself has acknowledged the need to address the issue of long-term undocumented workers, who have become integral to certain industries. This economic reality could lead to a less extreme approach than everything else suggests he will be, perhaps involving some form of protected status for certain groups. This internal tension within the Republican agenda between strict enforcement and economic pragmatism adds another layer of unpredictability to the future of immigration policy.